Welcome back to Fresh Outlook, everyone. The Patriots are fighting back, saying that the man accused of letting air out of the footballs for superstar quarterback Tom Brady was nicknamed the Deflator. Get this, because he was trying to lose weight, not make the footballs easier for Brady to grip. Let's hear what NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has to say on the videotape.
My thoughts are, this is my job. This is my responsibility to protect the integrity of the game. I represent 32 teams. All of us want to make sure that the rules are being followed. And if we have any information where the potential is that those rules were violated, I have to pursue that. And I have to pursue that aggressively. So this is my job. This is the job of the league office. It is what all 32 clubs expect, and I believe our partners, our fans expect. And we will do it vigorously. And it is important for it to be thorough and fair.
He is such a sorry Sam every time I see him speak. Get some gumption in you there, Roger. Anyway, I'm joined by the Fresh Outlook think tank. Ergun Yurdadon, Director, Sports Management, Department of Business Administration at St. Peter's University, joining us live via Skype. Glen Rothstein, sports attorney. Dr. Bart Rossi, a political psychologist, and Stevan, Lynn, a fatherhood expert and coach. Coach Lynn, we like to call him. And let's go first to Glen Rothstein, who is joining us via Skype. What's the latest on this Deflategate?
Well, first, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be on the show. It's a little deflating that I can't be in the studio with you personally, maybe next time. But really, the biggest legal issue that's transpired in this case has occurred within the last 24 hours, and that is Goodell inserting himself as the arbitrator for this appeal. The Brady legal camp is demanding his recusal on the grounds that he's going to potentially be a witness in the arbitration and the appeal, and he's inherently biased. But I think if you look behind closed doors, I think that the Brady legal camp is actually doing high fives in the end zone that Goodell is going to be the arbitrator, because by inserting himself into this as the arbiter, he has now opened up a number of new legal avenues which really did not exist for Tom Brady prior to him deciding he was going to be the decision maker.
Glenn, let's get down to the bottom line. Is Tom Brady a big fat liar?
I don't know. Is he a big fat liar?
Well, he's a tall, handsome liar then. I don't know.
I think it's beyond comprehension to believe that he didn't know something was going on, but there is a spectrum between a kind of nudge and a wink and a direct instruction.
Well, it sounds like plausible deniability to me. I'm going to come back to you in just a second, Glenn. Let's turn to Ergun here. Ergun, what is your take on the culture of cheating that's taking place on this national level? A lot of it's driven by big bucks. Tom Brady is probably the highest paid, highest compensated football player in the NFL.
Well, I think the major concern that we should have about the fairness of the game, we have all these rules. We call it constitutive rules, proscriptive rules, or sportsmanship rules. Why do we have all of these rules online in sports? Because we wanted to protect the integrity of the game. So whether it's a 0.5 deflating or 2.5 deflating, it doesn't make a big difference, because at the end we turn ourselves and we tell our children that, hey, truth is always best way to go. And sports, once you take the fairness away from the sports, you take the integrity away. Then who's going to be losing on those kind of things? Take a look at the stakeholders, shareholders, and once fans desert you, then you have no way to play with all those millions and billions of dollars that come in as sports revenues to your source. So you need to protect the integrity of the game and the fairness along with that.
Let's turn to Coach Lynn and talk about the integrity of the game. Yes. One of the reasons you put kids in sports is to learn right from wrong, good sportsmanship, all of those things are out the window apparently. The integrity of the game is called into question, and the children are the losers from your opinion.
Yes, and we're very sad, not only just Deflategate, but it seems to have been a rash over the past few years now of professional athletes showing true colors, if you will. Not only the athletes, but the league, and not having team as the overall idea. It's you, selfish, your individual achievements, and by any means necessary. And that hurts us, for us coaches, particularly in football. That's not what we teach from day one. We're teaching them, you have to do the right thing for your team. You have to have the utmost integrity as a man in order to be on this football team. It's been done that since day one. But now these types of scandals, this type of language, this type of idea is really hurting us, because you know it sinks into the kids. And if one gets away with it, next thing you know, they think they try to be like this. I want to be like Tom Brady. I want to be like Peyton Manning.
And if they had to cheat to get there, they'll do it.
They feel like it's fair, and we can't have it.
These are basically boundary issues. You know, how far will you go in pushing the limits, right?
Right. And my concern as a psychologist, of course, is why? Why do stars do this? And I think there's really an answer here. We all have different sides to our personality. And with some folks, they really want to be a winner today, even at the cost of their career, their reputation. Brady in particular, he is a liar. There's no question. I thought he was lying when this first happened. And the issue is that some folks really want to get an edge so they win today. They don't want to rest on their laurels. They have to win today, and they've never learned how to lose. If you're going to be into sports or even business or any place else, you have to learn how to lose. And failure sometimes is really the pathway to success. Apparently, the Patriots don't get that.
I agree, and that's the old-fashioned way, but if you listen to somebody like Donald Trump, he would say never admit to your failures. And if you look at all the people who are the icons of their sport, from Aaron Hernandez to the bicyclist, what's his guy's name?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong, to Tom Brady. Now you have three people at the top of their field, and they all are cheaters. Perhaps the people who are able to distinguish themselves at this next level will do anything. They're almost psychopathic in their drive to be successful.
Right. I mean, look at Jeter. Look at when Mantle played. I mean, these guys. Mantle said one time that sometimes he thinks he's only as good as his last at bat, because he was trying hard and he was doing honestly, and he was a real player. Jeter, a real person. I mean, those are the guys that stand out in the long run. Brady's going to be tarnished, and Donald Trump, please, we won't even start on him.
Okay, you're fired.
He can play for nobody.
That's right, exactly. I think he'd get sacked hard.
That's
Let's
right.
turn to Glen Rothstein. Glenn, you've been listening to the conversation. Bart says he's a liar, and Bart's an expert at detecting liars. In fact, I won't talk to him half the time because of that. But seriously, what are your thoughts?
Well, here are my thoughts on liars. First of all, I think a very interesting question to ask is, why did Goodell select himself as the arbitrator? And I'm by no means a conspiracy theorist, but tying in the legal with his decision, I think it's very plausible that the reason that he chose himself is because he can go through this charade of the appeal, have the suspension upheld, preserve his reputation as a faux disciplinarian, but at the same time, by selecting himself, he's made it easy for Brady to now go to the courts and have the courts overturn his ruling. And it does the NFL good to have Brady playing and not be suspended. So this could be a very result-oriented way of saving face for himself, saying, hey, I'm tough, I upheld the 4-game suspension, but then when it gets into the courts, they can look at it like the Adrian Peterson case and say you didn't apply the rules consistently. Courts have, that's one thing. When you get on the Brady side, you have to exhaust all these remedies first, but if he didn't do this, you can say what you want about Roger Clemens, whether he used PEDs or he did not, but he's the one athlete in that whole scandal who acted like an innocent person. From day one, he vehemently denied it. He filed a defamation lawsuit where he put his character completely at issue. If he ends up having his suspension upheld, I want to see him file a defamation lawsuit.
Okay, I'm going to hold you there, Glenn. We're going to turn into the studio. Ergun, you're listening to the conversation. What are your thoughts on this cheating scandal?
I think again, we gotta look at the core product. Core product is the football, the game itself. In our classes, we teach our students that you gotta protect the core product because everything else is built around the core product. Once you destroy the core product, then nobody gets any benefits out of that.
Right.
So the core product is football. If you cheat, if you destroy the element of integrity and the fairness, then there is no way that you could protect the core product, and the sponsors, stakeholders, shareholders, the fans, they will all lose the interest. So how do you get away with that? Well, protect the core product, as I said. And in our situation in here, that everybody talks about that, whether Goodell is doing a good job with his treatment of the, taking the first, instead of giving the case to somebody else, he's treating the, I think the governing part should be addressed strongly, because governing means the eliminating the violations of the rules. Sports cannot be sports without the rules.
Okay. Final thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with him. The NFL now is in a unique position, particularly after the domestic violence incidents that just happened recently, and to make them real, to stand up now and say, we're not having this. We're not going to have any stealing. We're not going to have any lying. We're not going to have any cheating, and no domestic violence. If they take that stance, it could not only affect the football from a fan's point of view, but all of sports.
And that is it for this edition of Fresh Outlook. I think what Coach Lynn is trying to say, I'm as mad as heck and I'm not going to take it anymore. That's what we need to say. I want to thank the Fresh Outlook think tank for joining us today. I'm Logan Crawford. We'll see you next time.